weight. So I can hold this guitar up by nothing other than its strings, and it's still perfectly in tune. That's cool. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're having a great day today. In this video, we are taking a follow-up look at the Evertune Bridge. Absolutely insane bridge. Now last year, you may remember, I did my first impressions having never used one before. Now I'm pretty comfortable and acquainted with it, so we're going to talk about the Evertune Bridge. This is installed on my Gretsch Electromatic. Very cool guitar. You know, one volume, one tone, three-way switch, and pickups that rock. Just a really great, affordable rock guitar. So anyway, we're going to take a look at the Evertune Bridge in greater detail. Now, having the Evertune installed on this guitar for a few months, I can attest to the fact that it's nearly impossible to put this guitar out of tune. Doesn't matter what kind of torture test you put it through, what kind of playing you put it through, lifting it up by the strings, breaking a string, this guitar will always hold tune. It's insane. You could hang it on your wall or put it in a case for years, pull it out, play a G chord, it would be in tune. So that's the whole point of the Evertune. It will literally keep your guitar in tune no matter what. So today I'm going to show you guys how to set up the Evertune. Let's jump in and check it out. All right, you guys, now the first way we're going to set up the Evertune is so that it plays like any other guitar, only it holds tune, which is unlike most guitars. So anyway, here we go. So you can have full articulation. You can do all your bluesy bends, semitone bends, vibrato, full articulation. That kind of thing, right? So you have all your regular playing articulation. Now, to set this up, you need to know one thing about the Evertune. When you tune up your guitar, you start from a low pitch and you start tuning up towards your target pitch. And on the Evertune, instead of going up and reaching your pitch and stopping, it goes up, it hits a plateau, and then it goes up. And anywhere on that flat plateau is where the Evertune is working. If you're below the plateau or above the plateau, it's not going to work. So that's the main thing, and I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to tune my sixth string up. Actually, my sixth string is way out of tune, but the rest of the guitar remained in tune. That's one of the cool things about the Evertune. So sixth string is way low. I'm going to tune it up, and you guys will hear the pitch going up. Suddenly, it hits the plateau, and it stops tuning up, even though I'm turning the tuning machine, okay? And then we're going to go kind of to the end of that plateau to get our articulation. So here's what we're going to do. So did you guys hear that? It went up a couple turns and then flattened, even though I turned up or kept tuning up. I'm going to show you guys that again. So I'm turning the tuning machine, but I'm on that plateau. So I'm going to go until we reach the end of the plateau and keep going up in pitch. Right there. Okay, so that plateau is pretty long, and that's important. So what we're going to do now is go back down until we hit the plateau. Right there. So I'm on the plateau. Right, no matter how I turn that, I'm in the same pitch. Now, what we do then is we tune up the string using the saddle. So I'll take a shot of that. All right, now that we've got it in the zone, I'm going to tune it up. There we go. Okay, so now we're completely in tune and we never have to tune up the guitar pretty much ever again. That's the whole setup, and that enables you to have full articulation. So you simply do that for every one of your strings and you have, as you heard, full articulation. So the key to, setting it up is to bring your strings up, up, up till it hits the plateau, go to the end of the tuning plateau until it goes sharp again, and then just lowering it to that sweet spot, right at the very end, the far end of the plateau. So that's how you set it up for articulation. Let's look at sort of like the rhythm or the tracking mode. Now, the second way to set up the Evertune is to remove all vibrato and all bends and really any string articulation that, fluctuates the pitch. Now, the reason you'd want to do that is because maybe you're the dedicated rhythm player in a band, maybe you're heading into the studio and you have to double track guitars and you need to make sure your guitar is in tune 100% of the time. It's perfect for that kind of scenario. So to do that, we still need to understand the plateau. So what we're going to do is similar to what we did before. So we're going to lower the strings, come up, up, up in pitch, hit the plateau, keep tuning your string higher, 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 even though the pitch doesn't change. And then as soon as it comes up, finding that sweet spot and dialing it back to the middle of the plateau. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Let's take a look at that. So I'm past the plateau, I'm going to dial back. About there, I'm going to tune it up, and then I'll show you what that does. All right, so here's what it looks like when you remove all vibrato and string bending. It literally keeps the pitch the same. So no matter how much aggression you hit your strings with, if it's going crazy like that, it's going to be perfectly in tune. If you hit it super light, normally digging in like that, takes a string way out of tune. So with this, it keeps your guitar completely in tune, which is great for double tracking, which is great for hitting the studio or any kind of recording where you don't need that. And you can do it string by string. So I know a lot of guys will do that on their 6th string, 5th string, and 4th string. So when they're hitting their heavy chords, it's perfectly in tune. But the 3rd string, 2nd string, and 1st string, they keep the bending, which is kind of a cool compromise. So you can literally do it string by string. So I still haven't touched my 3rd string here. You can bend it a lot. You do the same thing on 6th string, and it remains, completely static. So very, very cool options. So those are the 2 ways that a person could set up the Evertune. Now, another interesting way a person could set up their Evertune is sort of like a hybrid system. So I've set my 2nd string up here so that I can't really do semitone bends or vibrato, but I can do full tone bends. That way, if you set your guitar up like this, it would always be dead on, in tune every single time, but you could still do certain types of bends. So here, right, I can't really do semitone bends if I go to my 3rd string. Right, you can hear I can easily do that. But on here, I've set it up so I can't. I can only do full tone bends. So again, a little bit of a compromise. It just depends on, what you want your guitar to do in that situation. So you can hear I can't really do anything like that. But if I pass a certain point, so a pretty interesting way to set up your guitar. I think personally I would set mine up to be more like a traditional guitar because you still reap all the benefits of an Evertune system, other than, if you really dig in, because you're right at the end of that plateau, you can still kind of get your strings sharp if you really dig hard, right? To get rid of that, you really have to move it further back down the plateau like this string. Right, no matter how hard I hit this, the way it's set up is it'll hold tune. So that's the compromise you make, and sort of 3 different interesting ways to set up your Evertune. So as you guys can see, you can set up the Evertune to be really responsive, you can set it up to be really extreme and remove any bend, or you can do a hybrid where it only kicks in the bend after a certain point. So really versatile, and as I mentioned, you can set it up string by string. So if you want the low strings to behave one way, the upper strings to behave another way, really versatile. So here are my final thoughts on the Evertune Bridge after having used one for a few months. Well, does it live up to the billing? Will it keep your guitar in tune? Absolutely. It's kept this electromatic rock solid no matter what. So I mean, that's why you invest in an Evertune, because it absolutely will keep your guitar in tune. Now, potential downsides. Number 1, it's not a mod that most people can do. Thankfully, you can buy guitars with them pre-installed, like this Gretsch because it's not something that I would take on. So that's potential downside. It's not a mod everybody can do. Number two, it definitely increases the price of the guitar, but it just depends if it's worth it to you or not. And number three, the initial setup, as I showed you guys, is a little different than your average guitar. You know, in terms of, you know, intonation and saddle height, that's all very similar, but, you know, getting to the plateau, finding the sweet spot for you takes a little time. However, once you're set up, you are absolutely ready to go. So I haven't touched this guitar since I got it in my personal sweet spot, and it's just held it there no matter what. And like I said, you know, you pick it up by the strings, you do whatever, you know, extreme bends, snap a string accidentally at a gig, doesn't matter, all the rest of the strings will hold tune, so you're covered that way. So there's definitely some advantages to like studio recording, to live playing, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I would say overall, if you're the person that needs that tuning stability and really like relies on it, there's nothing better than the Evertune. So I will link to some guitars pre-equipped with Evertune bridges for those who are interested. Other than that, all my information will be down in the video description below. Have yourself a great day.